Straight from the heart of East Tennessee, this is 10 News at 6.
Welcome back. Hope you're having a good, safe Wednesday. We get right to the thunderstorm that could be producing an isolated tornado in Cumberland County. This is the storm that's moving north at 25 miles per hour out of Bledsoe into Cumberland County. So you need to be prepared to seek your safe place in Cumberland County. That means lowest floor of your home or building, away from outer walls and windows, and wait for this storm to pass. Again, it does have some rotating winds, and all along the plateau, we've seen heavy rain this afternoon, some 2 to 4 inches, possible flooding. Notice the thunderstorm activity that's actually increasing, and eventually some of this activity will slide eastward to the valley in a weaker state later tonight and tomorrow morning. We've got dry conditions right now for the most part in the valley with sunshine. More on that in a moment, but obviously our attention is focused on this tornado warning in Cumberland County, as we'll go ahead and get right over into Cumberland County right now. I mentioned Lantana. Again, go ahead and get in your safe place in southern Cumberland County, including Lake Tansy, Lantana area specifically. A lot of lightning, heavy rainfall, and rotating winds. There could be a tornado. We don't know if that's on the ground or not, but there is the possibility of a tornadic circulation and damaging winds. That's the main concern. A heavy rain certainly, but some damaging winds possible across the southern half of Cumberland County. This is the tornado warning. It is in effect for Cumberland County until 5:45 Central Daylight Time. Again, a possible tornado. The movement is north at 25 miles per hour. So from Lantana between Crossville and Pleasant Hill, and continue to make its way generally northward now, close to Crossville, maybe just to your west, and it'll eventually cross over Interstate 40 and continue to make its way northward. We've been monitoring, tracking the storm since it was way down in portions of Bledsoe County near Pikeville earlier, so it has had some of that rotation as it continues to move generally to the north. Again, there are some flood warnings and advisories also across that portion of Cumberland County. Now, here's a look at our velocity scan. We're looking at some higher velocities, maybe some damaging winds south of Lantana. This is the heart of this circulating part of the storm. So this is where there could be a tornadic circulation, a signature trying to show up here. Cassie, zooming on in. Again, where we see the green and red colors, this means some inbound and outbound winds. Got a little bit of a couplet going on. That's the wind shear. That's the rotation that's rotating in a counterclockwise fashion right in here. So this is the storm, the cell that we're tracking south of Lantana, and again, moving northward. Here's the latest track. Again, north at 25 miles per hour. So here are the communities. Got Lantana pretty much in less than 5 minutes. Hell Mill also about now. Lantana School, South Cumberland Elementary School. Then you got Crossville, 19 minutes. A lot of times when we're tracking storms, I go ahead and shave off about 5 minutes. In about 15 minutes or so, it could be near Crossville. So be prepared to move into your safe place as well. We'll continue to keep you updated and as we track this storm this evening. And there's Pomona and Creston within the next 20 to less than 30 minutes. So that's the look at the movement of this storm. Again, possible tornado in southern Cumberland County, making its way toward Lantana and near Lantana and Lantana School. Also want to say heads up Lake Tansy area. So if you're watching us in southern Cumberland County, again, this is the tornado warning for you until 5:45 Central Daylight Time. I also want to mention there could be some hail embedded within this storm as this circulation could continue to tighten up just a little bit as we go. We've been watching it tightening up a little bit. This is a favorite area, certainly coming out of the Sequatchie Valley, Bledsoe County into southern Cumberland County. Matter of fact, just the winds a lot of times act as a funnel coming up the Sequatchie Valley into Cumberland. So it's being fed with a lot of wind energy and some rotation, and that's what we're seeing from Lantana toward Crossville over the next generally 5 to 15 minutes. And we'll continue to have to track this storm. Do not know if we have any damage winds on the ground or the surface, but there's the potential for tornadic winds and some damaging winds. So that's what we're seeing right now. Again, we're going to continue to track. Cassie, if you want to go ahead and stop that, it looks like that may be tightening up just a slight little bit more. I see a little bit more of a couplet that we're continuing to track as it makes its way through southern Cumberland County. Here's Highway 127 for perspective. Thank you, Cass. And that's what we're seeing right now. Again, there's the circulation, Lake Tansy and Lantana. So again, anywhere, basically right around from Lake Tansy to Lantana, this could be passing over your neck of the woods. And there's a look at Dunbar Road, again, Highway 127. And we'll have to keep a close eye as this tracks, again, generally due north at about that 20 to 25 miles per hour. Possibility of some damage and winds, some hail, and again, certainly something we're going to keep a close eye on for you in Cumberland County. And elsewhere, we are looking at more showers and storms that are going to continue as we go through the overnight hours and in a lessening, weakening trend as we go overnight. We could see some isolated strong storms in some areas. areas, but this is certainly the main storm that we're continuing to track right now, as again, it still shows decent signs of rotation as it's continued to make its way into the southern portions of Cumberland County. This is a different product we use just to see the strength of rotation, the winds in the atmosphere. Don't see anything that stands out from this particular vantage point right at the moment. Now, elsewhere, I do want to mention that we have dry conditions right now as far as what we're expecting going forward. And let's go ahead and take a look at our futurecast. I'll just tell you, 80 degrees was the high today, low 66, 14/100ths of rainfall so far at Knoxville. There's a look at our Skywatch 10 radar futurecast, showers and storms on the plateau between now and about 9 to 10 p.m. We're going to see the showers moving into the valley as we get later on tonight. So overnight tonight, general showers and scattered storms are expected to slowly move off the plateau. So Cumberland Plateau, you'll get a break late tonight, but not through this evening. Yeah, you're being hit hard this evening, and continue to stay weather alert as these storms impact your area. There's a look at the scattered showers and storms. Heavy rainfall will be the main concern. Maybe some stronger wind gusts. We'll keep an eye on that for you overnight into your Thursday morning. We'll likely see a little bit of a break tomorrow. Then we could see some more spotty strong storms developing later for your Thursday afternoon into the evening hours, and as well as Thursday night. Here's some good news, though. After a chance for showers early Friday, the trend is for drier conditions to be moving in as we get into your Friday afternoon and Friday night, just in time for high school football. And as we head into the weekend, we're looking at improving conditions as we head into our Saturday and Sunday. So it's all due to this upper low that's going to be lifting out into the Ohio Valley. There's the trend as we get into the upcoming start to your weekend, Friday night into Saturday and Sunday. We're looking at improving conditions as we go, again, from Friday afternoon, Friday night into portions of the weekend. So that's what we're seeing as we head from Saturday and Sunday and Monday. And then we're looking at those temperatures warming up. Okay, wanted to go ahead and give you a full forecast. Now we're going to switch gears and go back to radar as we are looking at this tornado warning cast. I'm going to let you take us back to the local radar. And that's what we're seeing right now. Again, just near Lantana, Lake Tansy area. Again, Lantana Road. We also have Dunbar Road just to the west of Highway 127, making its way steadily northward through southern Cumberland County. Again, here's Crossville for you in Pleasant Hill, Mayland a little bit further up the road. And again, this is south of Interstate Highway 70. I should say Interstate 40 as well here. And again, generally just south of Crossville. There's a look at that. Still kind of a broad rotation. At times, it looks like it's trying to tighten up. Again, that's why we do have that tornado warning. It's 5:22 right now for you Central Time in Cumberland County. This tornado warning is until 5:45 Central Daylight Time. And there's a look at that potential tornadic circulation. Again, basically just to the south of you in Lake Tansy. Looks like it's shifting slightly, just slightly east of north. So again, between Lantana and Lake Tansy, this tornadic storm potentially could be moving in your direction, paralleling Highway 127 just to the west, and that would pretty much be crossing over Dunbar Road. And also, and there's the latest scan, as you can see. Again, Doppler radar, we're scanning it from several different radar sites. This particular one coming in from Nashville. And by the way, when you're on the Cumberland Plateau, there's a little bit of a gap between Nashville and Morristown's radar sites. So the circulation we're looking at is likely elevated a little bit more. So the ground truth reports, and this is why we want to take extra caution to say, while what we're seeing is the circulation aloft, it could be a little bit more at the surface. That's why we want to play it safe and let you know to get to your safe place in case there is some tornadic winds, some damaging winds possible. And that's what we're showing up right here. This is our velocity scan showing wind speeds and wind velocities and winds coming in different directions. That's when we see a couplet. And that's what we're looking at when we talk about a tornadic signature. We're talking about, as you can see, inbound is the green colors, outbound is the red colors with respect to the radar location. And that's what we're seeing right now in Cumberland County. So very heavy rainfall, by the way, embedded within this storm. And again, that storm just south of Lantana and Lake Tansy. A lot of lightning strikes. There's a look at this red polygon. That's the tornado warning, and until 5:45 Central Daylight Time, about 20 more minutes from right now, coming up in 30 seconds. So that's what we're continuing to track for this storm in Cumberland County. It's unusual in October to have any type of severe weather and tornado warnings, but it's not unheard of because we do have this warm, humid air mass that's providing a lot of lift in the atmosphere and also a lifting mechanism, strong low pressure that's still back to the west. Saw this yesterday in some severe weather in Middle Tennessee, and now that threat has slowly made its way onto the Cumberland Plateau. Thank you, Cassie, and the Weather Center putting the Doppler radar in motion. And again, even as we see the Doppler radar looping, you can kind of see that rotation. See a little bit of that spinning motion right there? Yeah, that's the storm right now, pretty much over Lantana and Lake Tansey. So you need to be in your safe place. You can certainly, it's a good thing to charge your phones if you're in Cumberland County. Have a device, a way to get your severe weather alerts. Our WBIR weather app is a great source for your severe weather information and your radar, et cetera, and so you can have calls. So it's good to have your tablet, your device with you charged up, just in case there are some power outages, and a way that you can go to your safe place, your basement, your lowest floor of your home or business, away from outer walls and windows, between upstairs and downstairs, okay? Bathroom, hallway, or closet, good safe place to be. That's when we're talking about a safe place. Small interior room, away from outer walls and windows, your basement. So that's when we're talking about anytime there's a chance for severe weather, know where you go in your safe place. And for right now, we're talking about for our neighbors in Cumberland County. So again, there's a look. These are inbound winds. This is winds coming toward the radar. Cassie, if you'll hold it right there just a second. The radar site we're looking at is Nashville. So these are winds coming generally from the east, and away from the radar is red, going away from the radar. So that means we have that circulation doing this right here. That's what's rotating. So there's Lantana Road. Here's Lake Tansey. Again, Dunbar Road, I believe that is, coming up right toward Lake Tansey. And so that's a look at the possible circulation. And if you live in Lake Tansey and Lantana, you've dealt with your share of storms. Here's a look at the cities, communities that could be impacted. As you can see, South Cumberland Elementary School, just for a landmark feature, Volunteer Heights, Cumberland Medical Center, less than 15 minutes. Crossville now at 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and say 10. Again, just to keep you updated and advised on what we're seeing as that storm continues to track to the north and east. Cassie's got some information for you. Thank you. Cassie says quarter-size hail is also possible with this storm. So a little bit of a hail core in addition to possible tornadic winds coming up into the Lake Tansey area. Also has the possibility of hail and some frequent lightning and probably even some positive lightning strikes. So again, these are the communities that could be impacted, and we're getting scans every 2 minutes or less. So the next scan's probably going to put it closer into the Lake Tansey area that will continue to track closer to our region. Again, here's what we're looking at. Tornado watch has now been, thank you, Cass, has been extended for Cumberland County. That's going to continue. It was a tornado watch, for Ray and Meigs County until 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Central. That's now been extended until 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time. That will now include Cumberland County. So this is probably a good move by the Storm Prediction Center as we have those storms making their way from the Southern Plateau into Crossville area, Cumberland County area, I should say, right now. So again, all we're seeing is the potential for some rotating winds. That's the main concern. And that's why we do have the potential for at least some isolated strong to severe storms. Isolated tornadoes are possible, and that's why there's a tornado watch as opposed to a severe thunderstorm watch. Again, there's some rotation and some winds embedded. So that's the potential. Isolated tornadoes possible, and that would take us through this evening. We'll continue to keep you updated and track as we track these storms through the evening hours. So once again, that's a little bit latest. Doesn't look like it's quite as strong as rotation. That's a little bit of good news, perhaps. Don't let your guard down, though. There's a look at, that vertical integrated liquid. Again, on the backside of the storm as it's rotating, hail core that could continue to be growing, quarter-size hail, but maybe even larger as that storm continues to, improve in diameter as it does have that potential large hail near Lantana, Lake Tansey, and on the backside of that storm. So I would say heads up between Crossville and Pleasant Hill as well as this storm continues to track up into your region, and we're continuing to monitor this storm as it makes its way northward at about 25 miles per hour. So, okay, if you just walked in, you're watching us tracking this storm, Cumberland County, tornado warning till 5:45 Central Daylight Time. Potential tornadic circulation. Don't have any confirmed reports of that. It's Doppler radar indicated, and we are monitoring the potential couplet of rotation. There could be some damage.
Home delivery, Lexington Furniture, from traditional to transitional and everything in between.
All right, this has just come in. We now have a tornado warning. This is going to be in effect until 7 o'clock. What we are looking at is a storm that is potentially tornadic, and this is occurring now in southern Lincoln County. We just put out a tweet on this storm. It's between Stanford, Houstonville, so it's in that area south of Houstonville that we are looking at this storm. Again, it's one we have been monitoring here for the last a few minutes, and one we were highlighting for you just a second ago. So again, this is a tornado warning in effect until 7 o'clock. This is going to be for the western half of Lincoln County. So it involves Geneva, Highland, Halls Gap, Blue Lick, up toward Stanford, Houstonville, all included in this tornado warning. So we are going to maintain programming here, and we aren't going to be sending you over to NBC for the next little bit. So again, for our master control operator, since I've not been able to call you on this, go ahead and get the tornado warning bug up, and go ahead and get the crawl running as well for the tornado warning. So again, you're looking at the new image here. The storm again is coming in closer to Houstonville. That storm again is showing rotation, and we're talking about it showing rotation. Let's go ahead and show you what we're talking about on this. And it was showing up pretty well in the storm relative velocity here display. So what you're looking at here are velocities within the radar display. So you've got moving toward the radar here, moving away from the radar there, and this is going to be just south of Highland. So what you have there then is your counterclockwise rotation centered just to the west of Geneva. It's going to be just to the east of Geneva, and again, this is moving north at around 17 miles an hour. So with a radar display on this for you, in fact, we'll put the Max Track Live on this particular cell. There is your updated one. So the storm is near Geneva, just to the south and southwest of Highland. We'll expand that out a little bit so we can put a track on here for you. You folks there, the western half of Lincoln County. So this is going to be between highways 27 and 127 at this point. You are under that tornado warning. And again, that's going to be in effect until 7 o'clock this evening. That tornado warning again means we are seeing at least the potential of this storm having a touchdown. So there you see your tornado warning icon, your polygon here, that tornado warning for Lincoln County until 7 o'clock. As we put a track on this storm for you, what we are looking at is, again, a northward movement of this. And so we'll kind of highlight a broad area here at first, and moving north at about, we'll put it 18 miles an hour. Turnersville, Chicken Bristle, and Blue Lick, all potentially within the path of this storm over the next few minutes. So again, this is that tornado warning that we're talking about. Chicken Bristle in the next minute, Blue Lick in the next 10 minutes. We'll be very close to where this storm does come by. And again, this has only been radar indicated at this point, but over the last 5 to 10 minutes, we were watching this storm very, very carefully. And as we were watching it, it was increasing its rotation. It was tightening up. And we were highlighting the reasons why here just a little bit ago. So there's your closer in look at all this. Again, Geneva and McKinney. For you folks there at McKinney Elementary, again, one of our favorite places to go with Weather 101. You guys are very close to where this storm potentially is tornadic. Not showing any shear off of this at this point, but again, the velocity display also, again, a little weaker than it was just a second ago. Let's go ahead and bring you the storm relative velocity. There we go. Okay, so this image came in at 6:31. So this is 2 minutes old. So again, showing a pretty good rotation now between Geneva and Highland. So that is that area that we're showing you right in there, north of Kings Mountain. So Kings Mountain, you guys are not, you technically are within the warning, but the storm is to your north and it is moving north. But it is on a path that will take it close to Stanford. So roughly, again, between highways 27 and 127 going through Lincoln County. Jumbo, Blue Lick, still close to Halls Gap. You guys need to be aware of this and what we're talking about in terms of the velocity on this. And this is a storm that will likely pulse fairly quickly. But again, you've got about 60 miles per hour of shear showing up right there off of the display. And again, here's the live look where the storm is just south of Jumbo on the Max Track Live Doppler. So again, very close to Geneva where you're seeing heavy rain in association with this. Again, that is a tornado warning until 7 o'clock for Lincoln County. And I know you were expecting to see NBC Nightly News here. Unfortunately, with the tornado warning, and again, a pretty good indication on radar here that that's what we were looking at was a potentially tornadic storm. And again, you're seeing some of the shear now. That's an exclusive product that we have here. So that's the radar kind of parsing through our computers, parsing through the data and saying, okay, this is the area to highlight. And it's that area just south of Jumbo between Geneva and Highland where you are looking at that, again, potentially tornadic cell. So here's your live radar once again. Let's go ahead and put a track on it again just so you folks know when to take cover. And what we always tell you is the duck method to stay safe with these storms. Get downstairs, get under something big, heavy, and sturdy, and you want to then get into the center of the house. Turnersville 4 minutes, Blue Lick in about 9 minutes for where this storm will be. And again, the motion of this is just west of due north. And you want to keep away from doors and windows and sources of flying glass if you can. If you're up there in Stanford, get into your shelter now. Blue Lick, you should be in your shelter. McKinney, you need to be in your shelter now. You folks there in Geneva, you've got the heavy, heavy rain in progress with the storm very close to you. So right now it's in that rural area between Jumbo, Geneva, and Highland. Good Pasture Road, you see that showing up there. Greasy Ridge Road and Martin's Trace, Blue Lick Road, again, all potentially within the path of all this. So again, this is the tornado warning that we're talking about. We'll get that tornado warning back up there for you so you can see it as well. So again, you see McKinney there. The storm is close to McKinney, between there, Miracle, Spice Ridge. Looking at all that, Halls Gap, the storm will likely pass just to your west, but you are certainly close enough that you need to be in shelter now. So again, anywhere from Highway 27 west, 127 east in Lincoln County. So again, there you see Stanford right there. As the sweep comes by, the data will change there for you as the storm is moving northbound. What you're seeing there just to the east of McKinney, that is likely going to be a little bit of hail showing up with that storm. Normally you would see the hail to the north of where the rotation is, but again, keep in mind the storms are moving in an unusual direction. And so in a supercell situation, everything's just kind of rotated about 90 degrees. And so that's why we're seeing it as we are. That again is the strongest storm that we have right now. That is the tornado, the warning that we have right now. In a second, we'll show you the other strong storms that are in there. But again, tornado warning, and that's going to be in effect for the next 20 minutes. That is, again, near Stanford. For you folks there, again, you need to be in shelter at this point. And let's go ahead and put the velocity displays back on here for you so we can get an idea of where that storm is. Might get a little better look here. There we go. That image came in to us at 6:36, at 6:37. So again, right over Jumbo, or very close to it, just to the south of Miracle. That is where you are indeed looking at that potential for this tornado to be. This is a radar indicated storm at this point. At this point, we have had no reports of touchdowns. We've had no reports of damage coming in yet, although we will continue to monitor all that. What we are looking at, though, again, is a pretty good radar indication of what could indeed be a tornadic storm. We watched it tighten up quickly. So it'll be in this notch that you see here off Good Pasture Road, right in here is where, if the storm is tornadic, where it's most likely to be. And again, this is moving north. So again, we'll track that for you. And as we do, we'll target it actually right on that point and take it on to the north at just a little bit west of due north there at 17. So Jumbo in the next 4 minutes, Miracle 7, Blue Lick 12, Boneyville in 15, Stanford, only see it up there updated now, about 22 minutes out at its current rate. Likely, again, McKinney to Geneva. This storm is producing a little bit of hail. It's going to be at that point. There's an actual Weather Service skit that came up. And when we talk about skits, that's, again, the computers analyzing all the data for you and doing its best to come up with a solution on all this. So again, see the similar times of arrival off of that skit. And again, it's based off where the likely shear is with that storm, not necessarily the centroid. They look at the BTI number there, which is fairly high for an October storm. That's a tornado index, and that again, just under 4. We're going to watch that to see if it alters any. If it increases, that is a sign that the storm, even though in a not a perfect environment, could indeed be something of a tornadic producing storm. That increases the possibility of all that. So bring it back out for you here on a big picture. The storm there is over Lincoln County. We've got another storm that's tornadic down there in Tennessee. Interesting on this, we've got our individual cell here that we've been highlighting, but take a look at that storm down there in northern Pulaski County as well. And that storm in northern Pulaski County, that again is taking on some of the characteristics that we're looking at. And so we're going to have to monitor that section of the storm also. But the one that we're concentrating on here is now passing by Geneva. It is approaching Blue Lick in Lincoln County. For you folks there, you guys need to be in shelter now. Stanford, you need to be in your shelter now. For folks, Halls Gap, you are close. The storm may pass just to your west. Don't take the chance. Houstonville, the storm may be passing just to your east. And then technically, Houstonville is not included in the tornado warning. You can see, again, that red line is passing just to the east of Houstonville. For you folks there, again, just a reminder, you see the tornado warning there on your screen. You see the crawl going on your screen there as well. And with that, again, this is for Lincoln County until 7 o'clock. We have this tornado warning in progress. We are continuing the tornado warning. The severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Stanford, moving north at 25. We've got it a little bit south of Stanford at this point, but again, well, in terms of how far away from Stanford is it, you're looking at about 5 miles. So again, it's probably closer to Blue Lick at this point for where that tornado, potentially tornadic storm is. But again, the radar indication is that this storm still is at least the potential of a tornado producer. Doesn't mean it is producing one, but it is a radar indication of one. So when we're talking about that radar indication, so again, off the Louisville radar here, again, we'll get you just a better velocity display. Very close to Jumbo at this point. So again, for you folks there, you need to be in your safe spot. And again, when we're talking about all this, and there's an updated image that just came in here at 6:40. Again, so that is essentially on Jumbo. Again, close to Blue Lick, approaching Boneyville. Stanford still is in the path of this. When you're looking at the greens and reds here, and if you keep in mind that the radar display that we're looking at here is up closer to Louisville. So you've got going, actually I reverse that. That's going toward the radar there in the greens, and away from the radar there in the red. So again, there is your counterclockwise spin. And again, that's the radar indication for you of that potential tornadic storm. Live depiction here with our max track again. So this is where the radar is now. This is where the storm is now. So again, you're seeing the area that we have been concentrating on is right here by Jumbo. There you go. That's the live image right there. So right there by Jumbo. So there you can see there's that little bit of a hooking there. Keep in mind, everything again is rotated about 90 degrees from what we would normally see as the storm is moving north instead of moving off to the northeast or to the east. So again, just take your supercell structure and rotate it that 90 degrees, and that's why you're seeing the hail potential with that sitting back here just to the west of the cell. So that is what we were looking at. And again, this has been a pretty impressive radar interpretation of this. That's a live look at the velocity display from the max track, and it would be showing the best potential for rotation, actually maybe a little bit to the west there of Jumbo. Got too many arrows on there for you, so let's get rid of some of that. There's a look from the Louisville National Weather Service radar. That's at 6:42. And again, about where the max track had it, just a little bit there to the northwest there of Jumbo, along Martin's, whatever, I cannot read the below, but if you guys are down there, you know Martin's, whatever street name that is. Yeah, and again, that's when you hear that little ding-ding in the background, it's called the National Weather Service chat. So it's what we use professionally back here. And the indication from them is that this rotation is strengthening, which is what we've been telling you here as well. So again, you folks in Stanford, you need to be in your shelters now. For that storm, again, when we're looking at how much shear is going on here, 45, 27, so now we're up to about 70 almost 72 miles an hour of shear of coming toward and away. So again, that's the rotation taking place in that storm just north of Jumbo at this point. And again, remember the motion of this is a little west of due north. Tornado warning, just to remind you again, until 7 o'clock for Lincoln County, which is why we have preempted the NBC nightly news. And I know some folks were, of course, tuning in for the big national stories of the day, but this is a local story that we have to concentrate on here. You folks there around Eubank, we have been watching that storm there sitting off just to your east as well. So there's an updated view of that. Passing Estisburg toward Albia, clipping the northern part there of Pulaski County. That particular cell also continues to bear watching. So it's a clustering that we have here. And here's the big picture once again. Just to kind of reorient you. We are looking at that storm. You're obviously well south of Lexington, but the storm is very close to Stanford. The tornado warning is until 7 o'clock for Lincoln County. So we're about 15 minutes in with about 15 minutes to go. We're going to keep an eye on that northern part of Pulaski County as well. But again, these are the strongest storms out there. And by the way, there are more storms as down into Tennessee. So again, these storms are all headed northbound as well. So it's going to be an evening here where we could indeed see more warnings. We were giving you the possibility of that earlier on during the newscast. So again, something to keep an eye on here. So there's your tornado warning for Stanford. We come in closer again. This is our Max Track live Doppler display here. And again, the heaviest of the rain now appears to be about over Blue Lick. So let's go ahead and orient you again where that potentially tornadic part of the storm is. And let's give you the Max Track velocity first here on the big display. Close to Blue Lick there. Let's wait till this display comes by. Picking up a lot of mishmash out here to the east of Blue Lick. So let's see if we can focus in on that. There's the sweep coming by. Again, too many arrows on here. Let's get rid of those for the second. So again, very close to Blue Lick, where you're seeing the greens and the reds next to each other. When you look at the radar display, where the stuff's actually falling. So it would be in that notch by Blue Lick is the most likely location. Now, if we coordinate that with the National Weather Service radar, again, similar location. This image came in at 646. So again, this is pretty close to current. Not exactly, but pretty close. It's showing the rotation. That image came in 644. Right over Blue Lick or just a little bit to the south, between Blue Lick and Hall's Gap. Regardless of, we're within a mile here, one way or the other. This storm is headed towards Stanford. So as we again track that for you at around, there's an updated image just came in. So it's at Boneyville in the next few minutes, Stanford in the next 13, Hubble in the next 27 minutes. So it gets to the northern corner there of Lincoln County. The storm does continue to show rotation on the radar display. So it is a storm that has not weakened any. It has not pulsed. And with that in mind, it is continuing to be a potentially tornadic storm. We were showing you earlier why the environment was such that it was something we had to keep an eye on. And again, you're seeing the time of arrival for that storm, Boneyville, Stanford, over toward Hubble. The tornado warning continues. You heard the little bing bing there. Again, it's near Stanford, moving north at around 15 miles an hour, so it has begun to slow some. But again, we're showing you how far away that storm was from Stanford. So you got Stanford there, Blue Lick there. In terms of a mileage, you know, you're 3 miles from Stanford at this point. Just about on Boneyville. So again, for you folks there, it is, you know, it's the tornado warning, by the way, does not mean go to your front porch with your cell phone camera. You need to be in shelter now. You folks in Stanford need to be in your shelter now. The storm is coming perilously close to you. On the Max Track Live, we'll give you the exact location of where this is. So again, just about at Boneyville. It's passed by Blue Lick. So again, the rotation, if this is taking place, is going to be a little bit more back right in this area here is where we are most likely going to be seeing that. From the Louisville Weather Service radar with the storm relative velocity, it's showing it a little bit south, but again, keep in mind that's a couple of minutes old. So again, very close to Boneyville at this point and passing by Blue Lick at this point. Both of you in those communities need to be in shelter. Jumbo, the storm has passed you. Chicken Bristle, again, that's passing by you as well to your east. But again, the storm is on a track very, very close to Stanford. Stanford, you need to be in shelter. You need to be downstairs. You need to be under something heavy and sturdy. Get in a bathtub, in an interior bathroom if you can. Get inside an interior hall closet. Get under a staircase in the middle of the house. Those are the safe places to be. And again, this storm is not one that you want to take lightly. This is a solid indication here on the radar display that what we are looking at is a potentially tornadic storm. Live look with the Max Track Live again, and you're seeing that storm, again, very close to Boneyville. We can put the velocity on here and see if we can, pick it out right there, right by Boneyville. We're seeing all that gray showing up. That's where we are seeing actually the winds exceeding what the radar can look at this point. We went with a little longer display, and so we're not getting, you can't get into the 70 to 80 mile per hour range with it at this point, and that's just letting you know how the radar works. So Boneyville, again, the storm is just about on top of you. You're a couple of miles from Stanford. So that's, well, if we're timing it again, to give you an idea of just how much time you have, we'll put that a little bit ahead. So, 10 minutes or less in Stanford. There's an updated radar that just came in there, again, very close to Boneyville. Between Boneyville and Blue Lick is where we're picking that up at this point. When you look at it again with the coordinating that with the Max Track. So again, it's where you see that notching taking place right in there. And that's just using all the tools here at our disposal to bring this information to you. So again, you see the radar data update. This has maintained itself as it moves northbound, again, very close to Stanford. Obviously, you get out, I would say, well, Walnut Flat, obviously, you're not included in that. I was going to say Highway 27 is the boundary, but I'll tell you what, it's awfully close to Highway 27 there, coming in towards Stanford. So from where we're picking up this potentially tornadic storm, we are about 2 miles from Highway 27 as it works its way there through central Lincoln County. This tornado warning again until 7 o'clock for Lincoln County. Bigger picture, again, we're also looking at the storm down by Albia. At this point, it's not a warned storm, but one that we'll keep an eye on here because it's moving into an environment where you could indeed see these. Now, if we put the skits back on here, and we'll do that and give you an idea of what we can find out with these storms, try and dissect a little bit. That's backing up a little bit. So there's the storm near approaching Stanford at this point. You're looking at the shear rate. That area has increased. The skid showing up a little bit west of where I would normally have put it, but I wanted to check the BTI, which is still sitting at 3.6. So again, for an October storm, pretty high. It's a low top supercell, so only at 30,000 feet, moving north at 18 miles an hour. Seeing some of the other communities that are going to be a little further out here. Junction City in about 20 minutes. But again, I think that storm's the worst part of this. I would move that a little bit to the east of where that skid showed up. That's a computer-generated skid, but it's been looking like where the rotation has been with this is a little bit to the east of that. So again, as we put the radar data back on here, show you where stuff's actually happening. See, the skid's a little bit further west than where I would say the storm is. It's closer here between Blue Lick, about halfway between Blue Lick and Stanford is where you are looking at that. When we are looking at this storm, again, let's pop the radar back up here. The reds and the greens next to each other, that's the bad stuff. So that's what you're seeing there. Boneyville, that storm, so keep in mind that's rotation going that way or air going that way. That's what the radar data sees. It doesn't see the actual rotation. You have to imply the rotation when you know where wind is going toward the radar and away from the radar. That remains tight. Now, before this warning came out, there had been separation between the reds and the greens. There was a gap. And so that was called broad rotation at that point. But it's when they become coincident when they become next to each other is that you have to watch. So you folks in Stanford, you better be watching us from and listening to us from your shelter, because again, this storm is very close to you. There's this sort of straight velocity, again, not showing. We have to put the storm relative, so that takes the storm motion into account. So when I just pause here for a second, it's just because I'm looking over some stuff. But again, between Stanford and Boneyville is where this storm is. Off of Louisville's radar display, there's not really as much of a hook as there was earlier. Pretty broad area, some heavy rain. But if we're timing this out again for folks a little bit further to the north, which would be beyond the warning area, and hopefully this warning will not be extended. But if we put that storm between Stanford and Boneyville, it'll move it at 20 miles, just under 20 miles an hour. That's some of the communities that should be close to where the rotation is. And again, it's going to be passing by Stanford here in the next couple of minutes. But it's getting some communities up there in Boyle County, which are not under the warning. But again, if the storm maintains, it would continue there. But at this point, we hope that it will not. And checking. All right, Garrett County, I just got a picture in. And of an impressive shelf cloud. This will be in Garrett County. So that's out ahead of the storm. That came in 7 minutes ago. But a very nice rotation signature from that. It's a supercell storm, no doubt about that. So that is, that's not, again, we've had no reports of a touchdown. Just let me check. Nancy, anything in the newsroom? Nothing has come into our newsroom. If you have damage, when it is safe, give us a call at 859-381-1818, isn't it, Nance? 381-1801. Thank you. 381-1801. And when you're hearing the bing bings here coming in off of the Weather Service chat. So what just came in with that is one of the things that we were showing here just a second ago, how we're saying it was looking a little bit more disorganized, a little bit broader. But that said, there are still some real intense returns coming in here. And this is passing just west of Stanford. We're talking a mile. Don't chance the mile because the radar data at that point, you are, how far away from we're looking 80 miles from that particular radar site. If you come in with our radar, it's going to be closer than that. So there's the max track. Oop, we lost a live here. So since we lost the live, we go back to this. This is why we have backups. So again, just north of Boneyville, a mile or two west of Stanford. But keep in mind that the beam width at this point, when we're talking that, the worst part of this could be anywhere within that kind of wedge, and that's an approximate size. So you can adjust that anywhere within that beam width. So again, it could be very close to the west side of Stanford at this point. And again, it is moving northbound. Your storm relative velocity, again, is showing that just west of Stanford, but it's really, really close. So for you folks there in Stanford, you need to be in your shelters. Anything from Stanford north and west need to be in shelter for the next couple of minutes. The warning should be expiring here at 7. And again, for folks who were expecting NBC Nightly News, we do apologize for that. You can find out the information that was on there. You can go to NBC.com and pick out the news stories that were there from today. But again, with this potential tornado going through Lincoln County, whether or not there was a ground confirmation, we do not know that yet. But if you indeed did have damage, when it is safe, you can tweet it to me at Bill Mack on Twitter, or you can send it to at LEX18 News. The LEX18 newsroom phone number, if you have damage and wanted to report that, is 381-1801. That's 859-381-1801.
At least key ingredient to produce a tornado. We wanted to miss all those key ingredients. And that continues farther to the south with the stronger thunderstorms. But the radar is looking much better. Notice how the reds here are catching up to this. They are choking off the spin and doing so from the south. So we are slowly but surely getting rid of some of that rotation. and we will continue to watch this as the new tornado warning just comes out now. That will take us into Danville and the small part of Garrett County. So brand new tornado warning that is just being issued by the National Weather Service. So here we go, and it's more of a precautionary as that storm in Stanford continues to lift to the north. So here we go. With the new tornado warning that is in effect, this includes areas of far northern Lincoln County. It includes Boyle County and Garrett County. Those were the areas we were hitting at a little earlier before that rotation did try to weaken just a little bit. So that is our new tornado warning. That goes until 7:30 as that storm continues to lift its way quickly to the north and into those areas. So what's happened now is that this has gotten just a little better organized from a few minutes ago. And it appears to have jumped just a little bit to the northwest of Stanford. So that rotation is there. And I want to check social media one more time. So that last scan on this all of a sudden ramped this thing back up. And I'm still not getting any pictures or tornado warnings that are ongoing. So, nonetheless, here's your rotation that is showing up here across parts of the Stanford area into Lincoln County. So we're going to ride this again, folks, until 7:30. That is lifting its way to the north. So there's the rotation. Let's go in and show you where the strongest part of that rotation is. And then we're going to kind of clean this up just a little bit to give you guys a better perspective on where we are. And if you've been watching us, you know what we're looking for by now. We are looking, and well, we are not looking for it. We don't want to see it. If we're looking for it, we don't want to find it. How about that? But that is the rotation that is to the northwest now of Stanford. So a little bit ago, that storm to the south, you could see how the rotation had weakened. Well, now this storm decided to move farther away. So we're getting enough separation with that southern storm to all of a sudden allow this to strengthen again with that rotation. And where you see that brighter pink right here versus this brighter green. Those are the winds that are going toward the west. Here are the winds that are going toward the east. And that means we've got the storm that is just doing this to the west of Stanford. So we've got rotation. We have got a spin that continues to lift its way to the north. So folks into Danville, you are right on the edge of that tornado warning, likewise into the Lancaster area as well. But again, that is lifting its way to the north, and that rotation is going to head toward the Hedgeville area and Hubble. That is in the northern parts of Lincoln County. Set the stage again with the overall view so you can pick out the storms that are in relation to where you are as of right now. You can see how storms that stretch from around central Kentucky all the way back toward the west and southwest have some embedded areas where we're getting in on some spin. That's why we have focused on that storm that is now in the northern parts of Lincoln County working its way toward the north and northwest. That has some spin with it. We were looking at that on the radar. But the rest of that line of showers and thunderstorms mainly now is some run-of-the-mill type showers and thunderstorms. So I'm checking social media, contacting with the Weather Service, and I'm going to look at some weather data into that particular area while you guys continue to look at our radar picture. And I'm looking just for some wind gusts, just out of curiosity. Not seeing anything at that site. It's in northern Lincoln County, so that storm would just about be there here very shortly. We should be able to get some pretty good wind gusts from that storm into northern sections of Lincoln County. So that is the only warning that is across the state, but it's a biggie. Anytime there's a tornado warning, again, as we have been telling you since we started this journey together at around 6:30. Yeah, right now you're tuning in. You want to watch your shows. I get it. I don't want to be here doing tornado warning cut-ins, but you know what? If there's a tornado warning, we are going to be here for you. It doesn't matter if it's for your house. One day it will be, and you'll want us here. Right now it's for the folks who are into Boyle County, Garrett County, and into Lincoln County. Here's the radar picture with that line of thunderstorms drifting quickly to the north and that little bit of spin that is showing up northwest of the Stanford area. So your tornado warning, that goes until 7:30 for Boyle, Garrett, and Lincoln counties, with the worst of this storm that is essentially just to the west of Stanford. That will continue to work its way onto the north, and that spin west of Stanford is continuing to gradually head into the southeastern part of Boyle County. Folks around Junction City, that's a close call. It is just off to the east. Danville looks like the worst of this, or the actual spin where the possible tornado is going to stay just to our east. That's a close call. Lancaster, looks like it's going to be just to our west. So that's going to head toward the Hubble area and toward Hedgeville. And those are Hedgeville's right on top of 52 here, by the way. So there is our rotation. This is Stanford itself, and again, lifting its way to the north and kind of pulsing up one last time. You can actually see that here in the radar return. So here's Danville, where you got thunder and lightning right now. That isn't anything to worry about outside of some heavy rain, but that storm, again, is going to continue to head toward the north and northeast. It's being pushed. See the separation now all of a sudden that this storm got from the storm to the south? They were trying to connect a little bit ago. Now we got just enough separation between that storm and the one to the south of it to allow that lead storm to pulse up yet again. Additional rain here into Somerset, Monticello. That storm, as it made its way out of northern parts of Tennessee a little bit ago, had some serious spin with it, but that is going to continue to drift its way on through the area. Additional tornado warnings here into parts of Tennessee. Look at this pipeline of moisture. You know, the overall worrisome trend outside of our tornado warning, which is a biggie, obviously, is going to be for some high water issues potentially showing up here from the Lexington Metro down toward central Tennessee, Chattanooga over to Nashville. I mean, this setup isn't a good one as you go through the evening because it isn't moving very much. So Lincoln County, northern Lincoln County, Boyle County, Garrett County. They are your safety tips that we need to be abiding by right now. Those are safety tips that we are not just throwing out there for the heck of it. We are literally talking about how this can save your life. You need to be in that safe shelter. You need to be in a basement. If you don't have a basement, it is the interior room on the lowest level of your home. So we need that that's where you need to be. Lowest floor, interior room, or a closet. Above all else, you need to protect your head. That is what we need to be doing. If you're in northern Lincoln County, into Garrett County, and a part of Boyle County as well. Those are safety tips, and protecting your head is the number one thing that we can do. So here again is our tornado warning that is out. You can see it's just a small piece of real estate that is showing up here into Boyle County, Garrett County, and northern sections of Lincoln County. So that is what we're dealing with as of right now. That storm continues to drift its way to the north. No other warnings are out anywhere. We don't have severe thunderstorm warnings. So it's one spin. It just takes that one spin, though, to produce a tornado. Elsewhere across the region, scattering of showers that are ongoing. That stuff continues to work to the north. So your tornado warning, that continues until 7:30 is right here. And essentially what happened is that as soon as that storm pushed a little farther to the north away from this storm, that rotation just showed right back up. You can see how it intensifies right here. See the brighter colors just on the reflectivity? That is also likely producing some large hail to the northwest of Stanford, between Stanford and Danville. That is drifting quickly now out of Lincoln County and is going to be into southern parts of Boyle County and western sections of Garrett County shortly. So that rotation, and what I have to do, I have to step off camera here to kind of keep up with it for you guys. But that is now getting into the northern part of Lincoln County and right on top of the Lincoln County line with Boyle County and into Garrett County as well. So that rotation with that storm continues to now cross the line. So if you're watching us into Hedgeville, listen, that spin is getting you ready to cross right over top of where you guys are into Hedgeville. The worst of this is toward 150. So the 150 corridor that rolls out of northern Lincoln County and gets in toward Danville. Though that's the area of interest right now. And you can see that spin up close and personal. That is now, let me take this just a little farther to the north. That is toward the Hubble community and northern parts of Lincoln County. Farther to the south, that thunderstorm continues to try to catch up. Well, come on, thunderstorm, catch up to that and weaken that just a little bit. But right now, it's out on its own. It's essentially its own mesocyclone. It's creating its own environment that continues to spin across northern parts of Lincoln County and then heading to the north. So there is rotation with this storm. This has had a history of rotation, but as of now, keep checking social media, and there is nothing that is showing up in terms of reports of tornadoes or funnel clouds. So that is good into at least so far. Now, sometimes reports can be delayed like this. So we're going to continue to watch this storm as it makes its way quickly to the north out of Lincoln County and into parts of Boyle County. There you go, Hedgeville, the Hubble area. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to take you out of my what I call show mode here, and I'm going to take this off, and we're going to go in and we're going to show you some street level stuff here. So folks around the Wilderness Trail Road area and right on top of 150. Bray Road, Kentucky Highway 1238, or eyes aren't what they used to be. But that is working its way right on top of the 150 corridor. And the worst of this is Wilderness Trail Road, and that continues to extend farther to the north. So we're kind of in an area that isn't terribly populated, but if you're there, hey, we're here to take care of you. Danville, Hedgeville, over toward Marksbury. Notice how the warning itself doesn't get into Lancaster. So, hey, folks in Lancaster right now, that tornado warning, yeah, you're probably hearing the sirens, but that is just off to the west of us. Danville, that gets into the east side of Danville with that tornado warning. But the worst of this, it's going to be a close call to downtown Danville. I would hope that the folks in Danville have already hit their storm shelters. I hope you guys did that about half hour ago now when we were giving you that heads up that we thought this was going to get extended into Boyle County and parts of Garrett County as well. But the worst of this is over toward Hedgeville, and we'll get into that 150 corridor, and you can see the old Stanford Road area. And that extends toward Goggin Road on 590 and Hedgeville. And you can see just some of those areas that we are highlighting here. And the map behind that, obviously, it's going to change a little bit based on our proximity as we move it around a little. So, okay, let's say, I know the majority of us are not under this tornado warning. What we're looking at, though, as of now, on the radar. So pick out the area that is closest to you and where you are in relation to that tornado warning. Lexington Metro, we haven't talked a whole lot about the Metro because you know what? There isn't a whole lot to be concerned about at this moment. So you've got some thunderstorms that are down around Wilmore and Jessamine County, Richmond, Georgetown, we had a little shower. Lexington, we had some rain. But the strongest storms that we are tracking are off to the southwest of us. And if we could just get rid of that one little bit of some rotation, we could wrap this thing up. But we still got that spin. And what looks like now the storm, the lightning is increasing. The reflectivity has come down just a smidge, but you can still see on the velocities how we are dealing, and I'm going to change this around just a little bit, on how we are continuing to deal with some of this rotation. So there's your spin that is showing up now north of Stanford into essentially where Lincoln County, Boyle County, and Garrett County meet. Not in Lancaster, not into Danville per se, but Hedgeville along 52. You guys in that 150 area, you guys need to be in your basements. So what do we look at and what the heck are you guys looking at, you may be asking. So we can look at a traditional radar image, and we can look at this image, and we can say, okay, radar, let's give this an MRI, essentially. Let's look inside the storm, and let's just focus on the winds. Don't show me the rain. That's what you're seeing outside of this. But in this circle now, we're not looking at rain. What we're looking at are the wind velocities. The winds that are in the direction of those winds. And it gets color-coded by the radar. Green, winds that are going in one direction. Red, winds that are going in another direction. So that's one way we can differentiate this. But where you also see the brighter red in here, and maybe a little bit of some pink trying to show up here, and some brighter green, is the radar saying, hey, that's where the winds are faster going in that direction. Here's where the winds are faster going in this particular direction. So essentially what we have done is that we have those winds going in opposite directions. What happens, let's say you spin a top on a table. You gotta get it going, right? You gotta get the hands to go in opposite direction. Same thing is going on here with the winds. And then we would need, you get that storm to spin, can you get some updrafts and some downdrafts to get maybe a funnel cloud or a tornado all the way down to the ground out of that type of a setup? That is what we are certainly curious about. There's that rotation that is just about out of Lincoln County. So Lincoln County, we are likely to get this tornado warning out of Lincoln County very shortly. That'll be expanded, or I should say has been expanded into sections of Garrett County and the Boyle County area. New update from the National Weather Service. Let's see, tornado warning, I should say, remains in effect until 7:30. Severe thunderstorm producing a possible tornado just to the east of Danville, moving north at 20 miles an hour. Radar indicated rotation. So again, this is a radar indicated storm, and I'm going through social media right now looking for anything that would, any kind of reports that are coming out of this. I'm seeing a lot of cool cloud pics, but nothing that I look at and think, okay, yep, we got a problem there. I'm looking at some clouds that are photogenic, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of spin or rotation on those. But nonetheless, if it's tornado warning, folks, we're here to keep you guys safe. And I'm going to move this view just a little more because we got part of that chopped off on the south end of that. So Stanford, if you're watching us right now into Stanford, you're still in your safe shelter. You're on the lowest floor. You guys are good. I'm going to sound the all clear on Stanford. So you can come out of your basements. You can come out of your shelters. If you're watching us now into far northern Lincoln County, if you're watching us into Danville, the Hedgeville area, and maybe a part of southwestern sections of Garrett County, you need to be in those shelters still as of right now with that tornado warning. The updated part of that will take us until 7:30 this evening. So when we talk about a tornado warning, where do we need to be? We go over we haven't had a lot of practice at this with this year. This has been the quietest severe weather season, by the way, in Kentucky history to date, at least in our part of the world. You know what? This is the first time I have had to cut in on you guys during the evening for the entire year for a tornado warning. It's the first time. So seek that safe shelter. Just takes the one time. Seek that safe shelter in a basement, interior room on the first floor. Get inside the bathroom, the closet, wherever you got to be. Evacuate a mobile home. Protect your head above all else. That is what we need to be doing. I don't care if you got to put an old helmet on. You got to do what you got to do, because most tornado fatalities, most injuries occur from flying debris hitting us in the head. So let's look at a home and let's just give you the do's and the don'ts. The do's are the areas in green. The don'ts, the areas in red. So we want to get to a hall, a closet, maybe a bathroom, because the pipe's coming up out of the ground, giving us just a little more protection, or the stairs. But notice how that is to the interior part of your home. So you want to cover yourself with a blanket, pillow, whatever else. That's just a matter of protection from anything that would be flying around. Now, if you got a basement, that's the safest place to be. But a lot of folks, we don't have a basement. So we're going to get into those areas that you see in green. That would be a hallway, that would be the stairs, or that would be certainly a closet or a bathroom, and get away from windows. Put as many walls between where you are and the outside as possible. We're looking at our Somerset cam right now. Boy, look at those clouds that are showing up. Does that look like October to any of you guys? And if you look closely now, we can see some lightning there in the distance. Now, this is still a pretty good piece from where we've got that tornado warning, but that line of thunderstorms does extend all the way toward Pulaski County. So we're watching that, what looks like a shelf cloud there in the distance, and we were noticing just a little bit of lightning moments ago. Now, that is from our Somerset cam. That is not looking toward the area that has the tornado warning. But the radar still lighting up with a whole lot of lightning in those particular areas of Boyle County. Can we get that second storm? Come on, second storm. Catch this thing. Let's choke this inflow to it off. We still got it there, though. You can still see the rotation. It may be just a little broader, but what it is now doing, it's actually wrapping. So instead, we had those that were almost north and south. Notice how this is now, see that little bit of an edge just wrapping in between 52 and 150. That is where, if we are to get a tornado out of this particular storm, if this is producing one right now, it would be right in here, because that is where that spin is showing up here along 52. Folks, again, Stanford, we're in good shape. How far away from that, from Danville, is that particular spin? You can see how Danville is really just on the outside of this by a short distance. So let's go from downtown Danville. You're talking about 4 or 5 miles to your southeast. And we'll time it out from Lancaster. Lancaster, we're good. This storm is just, the worst of this is going to pass just to our west. So that is not going to include the Lancaster area. That is going to continue to lift its way to the north. And we were calling Bryantsville name out earlier because Bryantsville kind of splits the difference between Lancaster and Danville in terms of being right in the middle. And that is heading to the north as of right now. And that will eventually move toward Bryantsville. Will it lose some steam? I'm going to move the radar image because we are getting close now to this crossing over 52. And I'll move the wind velocity map. And that is Hedgeville, Hubble. Goodness gracious, that is right on top of you folks, and continuing to work its way on through those particular areas. So let's get back in and show you where that spin is. It's about right here. It's about on 590, and that continues to head toward Hedgeville, and that is likely packing a bit of a punch in terms of high winds, even if we don't get a tornado from that. Folks in Danville, yeah, we got heavy rain. We likely have gusty winds. We have thunder that is rumbling. But into downtown Danville itself, the worst of this storm, or the circulation, is passing by just to our east. And I mean just to our east. And that is going to continue to work its way on to the east of Danville, lifting its way to the north. So your tornado warning still has a lifespan of about 10 more minutes, and it's losing some steam. That storm, at least in the reflectivity, has lost a little bit of steam just over the past couple of minutes. But now we saw this with it one time earlier. There's the spin, now firmly out of Lincoln County. So let's go ahead and we'll sound the all clear on Lincoln County. And this is now up into southeastern parts of Boyle County. And National Weather Service with some good news just then. We're in constant contact with them via chat. And they are saying right now no plans to issue this tornado warning farther downstream. So that means coming up here at 7:30, the tornado warning will be allowed to expire. And as we said, the ingredients were there for this thing to spin. But we're missing apparently one key ingredient that obviously we'll have to go back and take a look at a little later to see exactly what ingredient that was to get a tornado from forming, because that, mind you, is barring something that has already formed. We just haven't heard about it or has touched down, which in today's social media age, listen, if you get a tornado that's touched down, you're going to hear about it pretty quickly. So far, we've had no reports of funnel clouds or tornadoes here into Lincoln County, and now that storm is into Boyle County. Look at that tornado warning north of the I-40 corridor. That continues to lift toward the north. That is about 45 minutes, an hour away from Wayne County. So we got to watch that as well. Lexington Metro, watching that southwestern sky, and this storm, what looks like it's occluding. it looks like now we're starting to get in on this whole thing just kind of spinning a little bit. So that cooler air from earlier, or the thunderstorm behind it, may just be trying to get in, and we're just going to choke this thing off, finally. I know I said that a little bit ago, and this thing got some separation, but that storm to the south is picking up some steam. And there's your spin. Danville, just off to our east. It is toward Hedgeville. Lancaster, we're good. Stanford, we're good. Northern Lincoln County, we're good as well. The rotation is now right on top of Hedgeville. And notice we're not getting those brighter greens, and we're not getting as pronounced of a bright red. And the green isn't as broad. It's not as fine, I should say. It's not right up against that green. It's not as pronounced. So that's a good thing. And this storm now on the southern side of this has a ton of lightning. And I'm looking at Lincoln County, and I'm looking at this radar, and I'm thinking, Lincoln County, we're going to have some flooding potentially. I mean, this thing just keeps putting down a tremendous amount of rain into the same areas. So the radar is still tracking this as a mainly hail producer lifting its way to the north. And that cone, by the way, is the radar saying, hey, here's where this is going to be in 1 hour from right now. And that would take it eventually toward parts of Jessamine County, eastern Mercer County, and obviously northern parts of the Garrett County area too. We can put in some of the areas that it would see this. Bergen at around 757 and 819 near the Wilmore. Got about almost 7,000 people that are officially within that cone as it makes its way on to the north. So radars now can just show you so much in detail and show everything else that is going on with these storms. So we've got about 6 more minutes left of our tornado warning. Let's go back and show you the Somerset cam. Yeah, for tornado warnings, folks, we're on the air constantly. We're not going to, oh, look at that light show. How about that out of Somerset? We're going to be on the air for tornado warning. Now, I know some folks, you're tuned in right now. You're yelling at your screen. You're yelling at me. Get off your screen. It's not your backyard. Well, guess what? One day it's going to be your backyard, and you're going to be wanting us right here. And you know what? We're going to be here for you guys, too. But the Somerset cam continues to light up with the thunderstorm that is just into western parts of Pulaski County. You can see that's a heck of a light show, and that isn't even with our tornado-warned storm that is into the Danville area as of now. So only one warning across the entire area. We're going to set the stage again. One warning for the entire area that is about to expire 5 minutes from now. So at 7:30, we're going to get out of this. And barring no additional warnings pop up for tornado warnings. Severe thunderstorm warnings, we may cut in, let you know, get off the air. Tornado warning, you may say, hey, you're just repeating. Yeah, but somebody new's joining it, and they may get life-saving information on that repeat. If I have to say it 1,000 times, we're going to say it 1,000 times. If it means we're going to keep somebody safe. So that thunderstorm cluster is becoming a cluster instead of just one thunderstorm that was spinning right on top of Danville. Tornado warning until 7:30, but that second storm is now joining forces. So the spin is east of Danville. So Danville, in terms of a true tornado, we are missing out on that, and you're not missing out on anything. You want that to be away from you. We don't want anybody any harm. We want this to avoid any populated areas. Doesn't matter if there's just a home or two. We want this to stay out in an open field somewhere if there is a tornado, which right now that does not appear to be the case. But we're seeing the location of that rotation north of Hedgeville and continuing to work toward the north. So Bryantsville and eventually toward the Bergen area into Mercer County, and then getting up into southwestern parts of Jessamine County. Those storms are lifting their way toward you. They're moving at about 20 miles an hour now. But look at our second storm. Things caught up with it. This was the storm right here that caused the tornado warning. But our second storm finally gathering a little steam and drifting its way up far enough to catch up to our storm. Additional showers and storms are ongoing across southern Kentucky, and I think, look at that lightning show west of Somerset. That's what we were seeing on that Somerset cam just a couple of minutes ago, and we got more in the tank coming at us out of Tennessee, where that one thunderstorm continues with a tornado warning with it for roughly the past hour. That's north of I-40 down into Tennessee, but boy, that is a lot of heavy rain and a lot of lightning that continues to work its way on through those particular areas. Do want to go back to that Somerset cam to see the light show that is ongoing, and we can control this thing. I can move it just a little farther to the north to pick up on what looks like the better lightning that we're seeing with that. So let me quick check of everything that is going on. So our tornado warning that was in effect for Boyle County, for Garrett County, and northern sections of Lincoln County is now being allowed to expire coming up here in just a few minutes. And the storm that we're looking at into Somerset, on that Somerset cam, it's not exactly that storm, but I would imagine it's a similar view to what folks are seeing now from Danville, Lancaster, Bryantsville, Stanford, with those thunderstorms that continue to make their way on through the region. So we're going to continue to watch everything that is going on with the additional thunderstorms that are off into parts of Tennessee. So what's happening is that everything is spinning, by the way, around low pressure that is back here to the west of us. You can see that spin that is now into sections of Missouri and western Kentucky, and that's where our low is. That's a big upper level low. So just to the east of that is where you're getting a tremendous amount of juice to come at us, and it's right here, that pipeline of moisture that continues to come out of parts of Georgia, out of Alabama, through Tennessee, into central Kentucky. And we started seeing the leading edge of some of those storms spinning earlier. That got my attention, and then those stronger storms showed up at right about the time that the models were saying, hey, we're going to see better spin as we get into the early part of the evening. So your tornado warning for Boyle County, Garrett County, and Lincoln County is about to expire in just a few seconds. And as soon as that does, we're going to get you back to regular programming. And here is hoping you guys do not see me again until 11 o'clock tonight, because if you don't see me again until 11, that means the severe weather threat has effectively ended across the area. So that's what we're all hoping for. But into the Lexington Metro, by the way, we'll watch these storms that will begin to make their way on through as we go into the next hour and change. That would include Nicholasville, Richmond, Berea. Hopefully these storms will have calmed down tremendously by that time. But again, your tornado warning that was just out for Garrett County, Lincoln County, and Boyle County is expiring about right now. So that is certainly good news, and there it goes away. All right, folks. Tornado warnings are expired. You guys can come out of your safe shelters. If we need to send you back there, we'll break in and let you know. Appreciate you hanging tough with us. We'll watch the storms, and we'll hopefully see you again tonight at 11 instead of seeing you before then. Take care, guys.